What's the matter?
Oh my, I appear to have overcooked the roast. My apologies. Would anyone be interested in some Asian, perhaps? Takeout. Woody? Welcome to the BenBen Show. I'm your host, BenBen, trapped in the closet. And then I pissed on your face. Sorry. This episode of the BenBen Show is brought to you by DWA, Deplorables with Attitude. Get your merch at DEPLORAR.com. We're also brought to you by the 63rd Annual Grammy Awards, where Cardi B got down with V Stallion, new artist. I think she's like 19 years old, teenager. Got down in some hot lesbian action on the floor in primetime television. Some people are up in arms about that. I don't really care. They've been doing that stuff on the Grammys, MTV, like the two Russian girls, right? Like, oh, the thing she said running through my head. Is that the, or I don't know, they kiss, I don't know, something back in the 90s or early 2000s. Madonna, this has been going on for a while. It doesn't really matter. The only thing I thought was interesting is that it was like the producers were like, can we just have Cardi B and V Stallion fuck each other with a dildo on primetime television? And the other producers are like, the head producers are like, no, can't do that. But you can do like one step below it. You can simulate that. Perfect. It's not high art. It's fine. I can see why people find it offensive for network. If it was on HBO, I don't think people could say anything about it. It's just like kind of location. Location's everything, right? You know, in the womb, abortion. Outside the womb, infanticide. That type of thing. It's all about where your apartment's located. That being said, I would argue that some people have misconstrue or for the suspension of disbelief, just for the sake of having something to argue about, don't really get what the purpose of being provocative is. You're selling. They're not just selling ad space to make money during commercials. They're selling the controversy. That's the whole deal. Do you think when Bill Burr, who was criticized for some of his basically inability to pronounce a Mexican artist's name, that's basically it. He's criticized for that. Do you think that when the producers chose Kevin Hart for the Oscars, for example, that they weren't aware of the tweets? Like, they weren't aware of the tweets 10 years ago, that they didn't choose him, and then like a month before the Oscars say you have to apologize if you want to be the host, just to get the publicity? You don't think they knew that? Maybe even Kevin Hart knew it, in the whole apologizing thing, or not apologizing, saying I've had enough of this, I'm over it. That's part of it. Like, they're not trying to destroy Kevin Hart, because they need people like him, people who have made mistakes, to come out and re-emphasize pro-LGBT stuff, blah, 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 blah. But they need to build up the show. So they kind of like, I don't know, get somewhere in the middle. And both sides get advertising. Kevin Hart, is there anything like there's no such thing as bad publicity? Like, Kevin Hart does not, like, this is thing not that big of a deal. He was being comedic on Twitter back in the day. Bill Burr jokes about how he can't pronounce this person's name and how he's going to be in trouble for it. He's sorry. Her name, Natalie Lafourcade. Sounds not Mexican. I don't know, but when someone's going to criticize me for that, it's fine. But like, there was a producer that told someone, get the pasty white Bill Burr to introduce Mexican music album of the year. Dude, no prep. Or maybe he's even in on it. Get what I mean? Like, it helps him too. It's not that big of a deal. His people, his followers are going to forgive him. They don't even care. Mispronouncing a name, people that like him are like, come on, this is crazy. It works for everyone. So I think people need to start like recognizing the whole idea of inappropriate or over the top or even woke being like, oh my God, I'm so sick of it. Good. They're selling you the stuff you're sick of so that you can click on it and then complain to your friends and keep typing in the comments about how sick of it you are. That builds stuff. You know, a lot of things are derivative. There's not a lot of new stuff, but getting people annoyed, that's the thing. It still works. So don't think that they're not like on their game. Like, oh, you know what they're really gonna hate if we do this again. Or we say, we'd like to start taking away people's Oscars for like reparations and giving them to black people. People are gonna love that. Or they hate it, but it's gonna make us a lot of money because of the publicity. Something like that. Like, it's a game. It builds. And then people that are inside on it are like laughing inside. Like, you think Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp always disagree every morning on something that's like basic things that are just completely two different people? No. They have to have a show that bridges. You know, you can't just have circle jerk when you have two people at the table. That's CNN. And that circle jerk only works if they have one enemy they can yell at, which is Donald Trump. Notice it's not working. That's why Jeff Zucker's leaving after this year, honoring his contract. So it looks like a good boy for prospective future employers that might give him a contract. But like, I can't let this guy walk in case there's no Trump to fight in the future. He just like runs out. You know, he's a what do you call that, a fair weather fan or something like that. So people criticizing Cardi B's performance give someone like Ben Shapiro, give someone like Tim Pool, or conservative Republicans, libertarians, Steven Crowder, something to talk about. And then conversely, people on the other side of it, it's the same idea, like the Ronan Farrow thing. It's the same idea. It's like, how could you even possibly like Woody Allen? How do you even be in his movies? It's grotesque, but it's not really. This is what the people in Hollywood see. His situation is a little bit different. Most people believe women 100%. You're destroyed. You can't do anything until it's completely. This is a story that's been going on for 30 years. And so he's given the benefit of the doubt. But to play off this kind of like soft porn version of the Me Too like accusation thing, which is essentially what the Woody Allen case is, someone like Alec Baldwin can get free publicity by going on to defend him in a way that's kind of like ambivalent or not really defending him. Like, I just think you need to, not accuse people or not condemn people before they're found guilty or innocent. You just give them the benefit of the doubt until that time. The unfortunate matter with Me Too movement for the most part is they're unfalsifiable allegations, so it doesn't really work. But in Woody's case, it's softcore porn. People can come to his defense to a degree because it gives them publicity, and it's kind of like, ooh, the controversy there is like, it's almost there's this hidden like, I don't know, like support for Woody that's just like, people have been talking about this for a long time. This guy walked right through the Me Too movement without making movies, just fine. There's good pub there if you're willing to take the risk and be provocative. Alec Baldwin, someone like that, you go for it. At the same time, you have people like Chris D'Elia, with Amy Schumer and Cumface, Whitney Cummings, sorry. She, this like coming to attack him, not because they care or they believe that he did anything wrong. Whether it's because that gives them free publicity. Don't think that all these people who instantly jump on the bandwagon of believe women, it gives them status and some way to make money. It's not just going on a comedy tour, selling an album, going on a Netflix special to make money. They like sell time and space on TV, and they make money for it. They like create a job for themselves by being this. It's like Rose McGowan was trying to do that. I'm the spokesperson for the Me Too movement. That's like, it's $1 million position, and that's you just build this thing, and it's like, this is who you are. By the way, someone pays me $5 million a year to be this thing, and it's like your qualifications are irrelevant. It's just like you were first. You just decided to make yourself this thing, and people just go along with it. So like, again, the Cardi B thing, they did it on purpose. Like the like that song WAP, like it's ridiculous. It's very explicit. The sexual insinuations and everything about just like, I love big dick and I love my wet put, like, it's just like, yeah, okay. It's designed to, because they're losing money. They don't know what else to do. They're really worried that the content. If you think about music today, like, it sucks. It sucks. Like so like, I mean, no one's gonna tell me that Harry Styles is quote unquote like a super talented like Watermelon Sugar. Pff, give me a break, dude. Like, come on. It's like selling sex, selling a good looking guy. But it's they're worried. They're like, this is the best way to do it. They're trying to jump on that like political bandwagon of millennials, really flock to the idea of like what's ideal, what's good, treating people like, well, and the idea of inequality or some idealism is they're just jumping on the idealism bandwagon, because the largest percentage of baby boomers children are still under the age of 30, and they're like, or a lot of them are, XY generation, whatever. The people into their 30s are still a little bit liberal. You start to become more conservative as you get older because of the money. It's just like saving money and like less. You're like, gee, I want to retire, give something to my kids. So they have this chance to really push. Okay, we still have this wave. It'll go away, 5 or 10 years. This wave of just selling this progressive thing until it doesn't work anymore, and it's slowly starting to go. The numbers keep going down until they're like, okay, we just have to dump this and we restart things. Would it be something if rock and roll gets rebooted or something? Because the music today sucks. It sucks. It's so bad. They have to sell sex now more than ever in like paralleling the music. It's so bad. I don't know. But oh man, anyone want to go on vacation before spring break's just like now? Just go. When you're an adult, there's no such thing as spring break. I have like a friend who's like, all right, I gotta like finish this book on my vacation. She's taking like 5 days. I'm like, why? Just chill, lean back, and just kind of just let the sun hit you on the beach and just be chill. You don't have to finish some fiction book. You don't have to do anything. You just be present, enjoy, feel the sand beneath your toes. Just be present. People are so worried about I don't know, I think it's a social media advent, just like the idea of like connecting with nothing. Like there's this solipsism of like, I gotta do, no one gives a shit, just enjoy. I tell people all the time, like when you're at the beach, you're on vacation, like take a mental image of all the feelings, like close your eyes, feel the sand beneath your toes. That feels like an Incubus song, isn't it? Or someone, maybe they're eye blind. I feel the sound beneath my toes. Feels giving energy. I believe in the faithful word. Because when I'm with you, I feel like I could. Sorry. But yeah, it's just like, just close your eyes. The smells, the salty air, and then when it's winter, you can go back to it, and you just like you're there. Don't just like drop everything. There's always like we constantly like attack ourselves for just relaxing, like we're being lazy. At least some of us do. We should have that. It shows that you work hard and you care about like some sort of like image that you have of accomplishment that is also somewhat irrelevant. Sometimes, for a lot of people, it's delusional. I really like the stealth bomber. That's dope. You just enjoy your life. I have a friend who treats relationships like work. He's like. He just doesn't get that like you can't. Women want to be wanted, not needed, and he has this like impression that dating women is like a job. Like if I have this prospective love interest and I text them every day, they won't forget that I exist, and I'll just wear them down, and then I'll have the job. You mean a girlfriend? It's not the way it works, buddy. It's a stalker. But like he thinks he takes that same mentality of 100-hour work week, type A to like dating, and I'm like, oh man, it's awful. Isn't that terrible? I feel bad. Like I think of dating as something like truly like. This goes to social media. How many people are on Tinder? Tinder? Fuck no. Go to a coffee shop and just be there, and then like. You see this girl and you find her beautiful, and you invite her to dinner or something. Like something, meet cutes. Like I feel bad for people today. They're so disconnected. It's awful. And COVID has not helped that. But like the idea that like also the transactional relationship person. Oh my God, it's like what's practical. Well, their parents have X, Y, and Z, or her father works at this firm. It's so I mean, I guess it's a privileged position to not feel like you need to be part of that. Like, I don't need to date the rich girl, or I don't need to date the girl from the good family, or this girl's job means that she is her shit together. I've never wanted to date girls like that. I haven't had to, I like to take care of someone, and maybe that's because I'm in a good position. I don't have to worry about that. But the idea of just like, the relationship's practical. what is it survival? Like flourishing with someone? It's not love. It's just it's just so transactional. It's almost like just paying for sex. It really is. It's just derivative. It's like I'm with you because you're a lawyer. Oh no. I think like a woman should think that way. If she's giving up her career stuff to have kids and like whatever and be there for you to make dinner for you and to like, enjoy her life. Again, I don't think women should have to work. I don't care what you think about misogyny or how chauvinistic that is. I don't care. I think a man should be able to take care of a woman. And if she doesn't want to work, she shouldn't have to. But she can, and she should if she wants to. See the difference? A slight difference. My mentality, as esoteric as you might think it is actually kind of in an area of women find that attractive. Like I want to take care of you. I don't need you to put money into a pot that we share and we talk about like financials. No, I make the money. You have sex with me and make dinner and I don't know, just let me enjoy time with you. I'm just kidding. It's not like that, but you know what I mean. I want to take care of you. I love you. I want you to be there, like for me, and I want to be there for you. And I don't owe you anything, and you don't owe me anything. Although it would be nice to have, I don't know, stuff that's some sort of quid pro quo a little bit. It's like I did make $45,000 this past week. Can I get a top off the knob? I'm just kidding. But like the point I'm saying is like people. I don't know. I just if you're in the position to really just not give a baker's fuck and just like really fall in love with someone. Like if you just give like it doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter like where they are in their life. You just know that you love this person or you care about them, and their position. They're being a doctor, a lawyer, or homeless is. Not that it's kind of an hard person to date because where you're going to meet them. There's not tons of homeless people in your social group probably. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you just like, they're all that matter. Like, what they do is irrelevant. Like, I can't stress it enough. Like, don't ever date someone because of what they do. Even a guy, from a woman's perspective, like, I understand there's like an insurance policy. Like, so you're saying I marry this guy, I maybe get pregnant or something, and I'm supposed to, like, drop my career and then not work, like it's something to consider, of course, but the comfort of dating someone just for the sake of like what they do and not really loving them, there's a darkness to that, and I think it might come out later on, like when you're older. It's like you're just you're just like, oh no, that's what was I thinking? And it's dark, and because nothing lasts, but like love can, and it lasts more than like the feeling of comfort from the money. They'd have not having money, not having comfort, not having like protections in those regards, but having love. I think it like stays beyond the money. So don't go after the money, you gold diggers. Consider love. Consider it. Dip and dabble into the gold digging. Enjoy yourself. But then, maybe, I don't know. Or you learn to love the person you've gold digged into. You've dug a hole into his gold pile. Now you realize he's also really great, and you've built something that way. That's nice. I'm sure there's some people that are like in arranged marriages that at first hated the person and then they fell in love. That's a thing, I guess. Though I always feel like love has some sort of like implicit connection. Like you just see a person across the room and you just so infatuated with them right off the bat, and the infatuation turns out to be far more complicated than just like superficial things, like you find out you have all these things in common, or these secrets that person has that not bad secrets, things they don't talk to people about, but they divulge to you. They let their guard down. You realize you're so interested in those things, and you're like, it's almost like your subconscious knew about them. I don't know what I'm talking about, but that's I've noticed that like it's a beautiful thing. And I've also, when I've had times in my life where things are not going well, I like attract toxic people, and there is like this energy thing about people and like who you attract based on like where you are. It's interesting, and I think there is something to that. Like all things can be different. Like I'm still tall, and I still look the same, but like at some point in my life, I'm not like making the right decisions, and I date someone that's also probably not make the right decision in their own life and really feed off this toxic energy. Or then other times it's like it's a little bit different, like things are missing, and then I fall in love with someone who also in their life things are missing, but it's like it can be a good thing, like to grow with that person. But it is interesting how like there's this subtle connectedness that isn't clear. There's this stuff that isn't spoken. It's not aesthetics. It's just like a connection in your subconscious to the other person. Some people say that's like that movie Meet Joe Black. Love is like one person's subconscious connecting with another person's subconscious. Maybe it's Wedding Crashers, but it's like there's something there. Like, and it's like you can't. It's not. You can't equivocate. You can't articulate it. It's beautiful. Like quantum connections or something like spooky action in a distance, but it's there. You know, like the iPhone thing, the new iOS, the unknown senders and known senders. Someone texted me the other day, and I forgot about it. Like I'm gonna text you in 10 minutes, and we're gonna meet this place, and blah blah. I'm like, okay. And I realized the text messages, like they don't ever text me. Like they're news to me texting my phone, and I just ignored it. And they went to the place I was supposed to meet them at because their text message was bifurcated in this new unknown sender thing. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I'm like, they called me like, hey, I'm in here. I'm like, oh my God, I'm an hour away. I'm so sorry. 45 minutes. I lied. It was like traffic. Really probably 25 minutes, but I was like, I can't, I'm so sorry. And I was like, told them I'd take them out to dinner or something like that. But I'm like, yeah, what are they doing with that? They're like trying to encourage people to stop connecting with other people. Keep texting, still feel that anxiety from someone calling you. Here are people you don't know. Let's put them in a new group. Like let's make you feel worried about even that group. Like, no, I don't want to look at that folder. It's scary. It's disassociative. It's really unhealthy. People are so afraid of like talking to someone on the phone. They're even afraid of intimating that that's what they want. Like we need to have a conversation. They try to get everything done through text. Like avoid this connection, this interpersonal. Like, why? So you avoid being judged by like your good friends. If they're your friends, who cares? If they're not your friends, who cares? What is this like disconnect from like people? It's almost it's for the benefit of tech people, social media, Apple to push this, but it's like in terms of like interpersonal connection and being human, it's disgusting. I really don't like it. Probably the biggest story of the week in terms of like substance, maybe. News outlets lied about Trump's comments in Georgia. The Washington Post has added a lengthy correction to a bombshell report from early January that had said that President Trump told Georgia's top election investigator during a phone call to find the fraud and that they would be a national hero if they did so. 2 months after publication of the story, the Georgia Secretary of State released an audio recording of Donald Trump's December phone call. I think this was released to the Wall Street Journal. The recording revealed the Post misquoted Trump's comments on the call based on information provided by a source, an anonymous source. Trump did not tell the investigator to find the fraud or say that she would be a national hero. Instead, Trump urged the investigator to scrutinize ballots in Fulton County, Georgia, asserting there would be dishonesty there. He also told her that she had the most important job in the country right now. It's entirely one thing for one news organization to claim they independently confirmed a scoop that was wrong from anonymous sources. It's another thing if multiple news outlets, MSNBC, CNBC, CNN, claim they independently confirmed a bogus scoop with anonymous sources of their own. The first can be explained as an error. One time source is wrong. The others imply that the corroboration is of the story by one source that is duplicitous. In other words, it's the source for all the other stories. They're not corroborating the story. They're corroborating the source, essentially. You know what I mean? Like, in other words, the story is from one person who might be lying or have ulterior motives or be completely made up. they're corroborating the story because it's coming from a person who's saying the same thing. They don't ever ask them, hey, by the way, are you the guy that said this? Or were you the source for those other news organizations like CNN? And like, you that source? I can neither confirm nor deny such a thing. Sorry, gotta go. Bye. It's crazy. Like, how many times have there been instances where people have criticized CNN? Fox, anyone, any news organization, Fox, let's go for it. Let's keep it even. Hey, anonymous source. Well, who's your source?
You very quietly listening to all this BS, quite frankly. And did you listen to anything McMaster said today where he said, I was in the room, that didn't happen, nothing inappropriate was shared? You're basing all these allegations off of one or maybe two sources, which CNN reports. Two former officials knowledgeable of the situation confirmed to CNN the main points of the story. Two former officials. Tell you what, come out, name those people, then we'll have something to talk about.
One, we protect sources. Two, it's not just CNN. It's Washington Post, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, CNN, ABC,
yeah, but who
NBC.
are the sources?
Carl.
Who are the sources? Oh, because they're hiding behind this anonymity.
Oh,
and that's what we're seeing.
Please, do not even start with me that you're just going to attack sources.
Okay, so
that
what
is
about,
ridiculous.
so are you saying McMaster is lying?
I'm not saying McMaster is lying.
Well, he didn't really answer the question.
He didn't answer the question.
He said nothing inappropriate was shared.
He said, no, that's his opinion.
That would be...
But that's his opinion.
You cannot attack.
Yeah.
Do not attack the stellar reporters of CNN
who
have their sources and would protect their sources.
Stellar reporters of CNN that I am going to attack right now and say, guess what? I don't believe them because they're staying anonymous. If they stand behind this story, come out, face the camera.
Can I just say something?
All they've been doing is facing the camera, Carl.
The people who are in that room?
We have anonymous sources. We protect them for real reasons. So the information that is important to the public can get out.
Happen? I mean, those were anonymous sources. Was that not a real story?
I'm saying that there's been so many anonymous sources.
But seriously, so Watergate, it was all a lie because it was anonymous sources.
It was a trial.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Carl, you're embarrassing yourself. You're embarrassing yourself, your party, and your country. You should not be doing this. You're a better person than this. I'm ashamed for you. This is not the discussion we should be having. This is a serious moment in our country's history. The President of the United States has been accused of and has admitted to sharing highly sensitive information to the Russian government. To not only the Russian government, but to a known Russian spy,
Let's deal with the facts. H.R. McMaster today confirmed when he was speaking to reporters that that Trump's aides, after the meeting, went to the NSA and the CIA to ask about classification of information that Donald Trump discussed. If there was no problem with what Donald Trump discussed, why was Tom Bossert going to speak to the NSA and the CIA afterward?
Well, since you so nicely pointed out that I do understand classified material, after a lot of these briefings, there are a lot of calls over to NSA, to the DOD, to find out if anything was classified beyond what they talked about. So guess what? These calls happen almost every single time.
H.R. McMaster says, I don't really know why.
So these calls sometimes happen after a lot of...
You can just make them up. Why don't you reveal your source? And they're like, how dare you? How dare you? I don't do that. I do not do that. I don't do anal. It's like that. It's like no one goes back there. No. You have to marry me. I want VS1G, 2.5 carats minimum if you want that backdoor action. That's what it is. It's so ridiculous. It's sacred and it's unfalsifiable. But in this day and age, why could you not just make up journalistic integrity doesn't exist. The editorialization of the media, like op-eds are front page news. Why can't they just make up the anonymous sources? Why don't they just have a revolving door of fake people? They even have some fake integrity system of their own where they have 10 sources they just rotate as the anonymous source for different articles. It's made up. Why not? It's just a fake thing to make themselves give themselves plausible deniability or something. Well, this source here, I don't know them, and it's almost like Secret Santa. Just rotate around. Someone gives a story. Hey, I got a story for you. Okay, take it. Good. All right, the source is going to come. You don't know who it is. Envelope. There's going to be a candy cane. Oh, you're welcome. And that's it. Why not? It's ridiculous to know. And the story's corroborated by the same source. The source. The news organization doesn't really care because again, you don't have a story to corroborate unless that person, you can't really ask them. So if you were to ask the source who, by telling you the same story, were you the source for the other news outlets, story, that would completely undermine corroborating the story because it's coming from the same person. right? So they don't, because they don't do that. They don't say that, or they do, they don't care, and they lie to you, because they don't have a story then. If they have any integrity at all, they'd ask that source that. Were you involved in CNBC's, I can't talk about that. Well, then we can't corroborate the story. So they could say an uncorroborated source, but like the source has to be independent. And then of course the source could be lying, and then of course the source could be real and true, and then feeding false information. But my only thing was that like the way the news is today, it's TMZ.com. They're selling sensationalism. So why do they care? You don't know. Like, how are they supposed to compete with YouTube? Like, daytime CNN is getting crushed by YouTube like channels. Like, that's insane. Like, the amount of money involved one versus the other. The original news company that put line of sight satellites in the air in the 80s, the CNN's launching, made Michael Jordan by having his image slamming basketballs into hoops and flying through the air, go to China, and then he became an international sensation. It's like there's a book about this called like Michael Jordan, the New Global Capitalism. It's like the timing, like, could have been Julius Erving, but it so happened to be line of sight satellites happen or launched during Michael Jordan's like emergence from UNC to the Bulls. So yeah, I'm like, I got coffee and I got this energy drink. It's troublesome. I'm gonna stop this for a second, so in case I feel like I have a low space. Hold on. Boom, back. It's troublesome. I've always called bullshit because it's just like what. It's so competitive, and then you have to compete with the legacy networks are competing against little guys, as I said, like YouTube and stuff. It's like, well, come on, they have no shot in hell. The only thing they got is prime time. It's the only edge they have over YouTube and some guy on Instagram giving news, for Christ's sakes. I mean, people make a fortune. Like, there's like, outside of news, Emrata makes $25 million a year. Who the fuck is Emily Ratajkowski? Like, who the fuck? She's not a supermodel. She's not anyone. She's a fucking woman who's fine. I feel like there's like a squirrel. And I don't know. This is air. Like a piece of plastic. I don't know. She's just a girl that's very, very attractive, sexy, that sells sponsored content on Instagram. I was trying to figure out what she does, because it's like, I don't know, I don't remember. It's like $25 million a year. Oh my God, like, it's insane. And it's like, that's what like Matt Lauer makes. And you just like, so I went, this skin cream is so great, and I put it on my tits. Oh God, look how luscious they are. Boom, one pick. 30 grand, or whatever, 100 grand. I don't know. She makes a fortune. Oh my goodness, dude. I think it's crazy that's like people also like, that's where you say like, oh man, you know, why don't listen to Abercrombie and Fitch like have fat people that work there? It seems really, really messed up. Oh, well, because they won't, you know, people that have abs won't want to buy the shit. Because it's like, this is only for people with abs. And like, this is like it's like someone who already has a nice car and there's a commercial like, hey, good job for you, for thanks buddy. I feel good to be part of the group. Kind of like that. And yet she's getting paid. They're obviously selling like obscure new brands that have some, you know, cash, some maybe, you know, some working capital to give to a random person on YouTube. Oh, she's very attractive. She gets make us. And that's what happens. E-commerce is amazing. But yeah, it's just crazy to think, oh, you know, CNN could never do anything wrong. Fox News would never violate journalistic integrity for the sake of money. Really? I mean, is there any integrity in terms of like selling sex at prime time on was it NBC? Was it Grammys? You know, women like, you know, basically simulating lesbian sex at 7 o'clock on a Sunday. That's not, you know, maybe inappropriate for children and for the network. Well, the money. Oh. Of course, I don't blame you. It's just like, you know, come on. This is like no one really wants to talk about it because they're all doing it. They're all lying. Everyone, both political sides. So that wasn't a squirrel. That was my hand hitting. I'm gonna talk about like I have like now. You guys think I have some weird thing about squirrels. Like the squirrels are, I see squirrels. Kind of like City Slickers 2, where this. I feel like the clothes in my closet come to life, and they're like friends of mine. I talk to them, and then like Billy Crystal, gets on the phone. He takes it from Daniel Stern. Daniel Stern, is that it? And he's like, Yes, Paul has to go. And then the secretary's like, who is this? It's like, this is a pair of his socks. And boom. That was a funny scene. I don't think I explained that well. Pelosi joins Biden in saying Governor Cuomo should resign if the allegations are proven true. It's really impossible unless there's a criminal proceeding. Also, it's really like whatever. But I digress. This comes after Governor Cuomo lifted the ban on weddings and catered events in New York City this past week. It should be noted, Cuomo was accused of unwanted sexual advances at a wedding back in 2019, so it makes you wonder whether this is New York returning to business as usual or the governor is just horny. I mean, I don't... 7 women have come forward in recent weeks accusing the New York Democrat of unwanted touching, inappropriate comments, forcible kissing on aid on the lips, and groping a staffer at the governor's mansion. One of those is unfalsifiable. Forcibly kissing, that's again unfalsifiable and subjective. Inappropriate comments, in what context? And then, so Anna Rush, this is a woman at the wedding, who accused the governor was working the room at toasting the newlyweds. He came upon Miss Rush, now 33, and back in 2019, thanked him for his kind words about her friends. But what happened next instantly insulted her. Mr. Cuomo put his hands on Mrs. Rush's lower back. She removed them with her own, and then she recalled the governor asking, seeming aggressive and placing her hands on her. There's a picture of this. Putting both his hands on her cheeks and asked if he could kiss her. And someone overheard this as well, so it was corroborated by another person. Mr. Cuomo released a statement on Sunday night acknowledging that some of the things he said may have been misinterpreted as unwanted flirtation. Well, no, it's not misinterpreted. It's unwanted by the other person. This is very interesting how you can, the self-determination of one person, their own predilections and wants, you can determine them ad hoc. It's unwanted. I don't necessarily think that's a thing involving inappropriate sexual advance. Inappropriate sexual advances inclusive of unwanted sexual advances, inclusive of just flirting with someone that doesn't want to be flirted with. It's empirical. You have to try, and then they're like, no, oh, okay, sorry, and then you back away, and that's it. And they're like, I didn't want to talk to that guy, and then he walked away, but still, he tried. He's a rapist. That's the thing. And this is what's weird about Cuomo. All the sexual assault stuff has come out since the nursing home fiasco with the numbers being deflated. He was manipulating them so it didn't look like he was responsible for nursing home deaths. He opened the nursing homes up to COVID patients and over 9,000 old people, geriatrics, whatever. Fuck them. Put them on icebergs for all I care. They died. And he tried to downplay the numbers, saying we don't want to double count, which doesn't make any sense because no one ever does that in either state the way he was trying to do the numbers. And I think the Democrats don't want to be involved with someone from their side putting a black cloud over the pandemic or their handling of it. So they obfuscate the destruction of Cuomo and the possible fraud of the submitting the numbers incorrectly by making it a sexual thing. So we're destroying him with sex, not with the thing that brings it back to us. And that's messed up too. It's really messed up. I don't really care for the way sex is being used against men in every way, shape, or form. Since the Me Too movement began, because it's unfalsifiable. Most of the time, you can't prove or disprove it. Dennis Hoffman being accused of putting his hand on his assistant's ass 30 years ago. He's supposed to apologize for. What the fuck are you talking about? That's it. If that's all you got, and then there's nothing else. That's the thing with Woody Allen. It's where are the other girls? You don't just become a pedophile at 56 years old and then do it once and then it doesn't happen again. I've never, why doesn't he live in Thailand? I've never heard of it. You know what I mean? It's just so bizarre. Granted, the whole Soon Yi thing is a bit bizarre. She was adult, though, at the time. It's just that, if that didn't happen, the Soon Yi part, it's this is particularly ridiculous. The Soon Yi thing almost legitimizes it. It's did you eat the vanilla ice cream? No, I don't. I'm allergic to vanilla. But you did eat the cookies and cream. Or, sorry, you did eat the chocolate. Yeah. So you admit it. what? Like it's like you're allergic to vanilla, right? Okay, like it's a completely separate thing. It's yes, there's some of the like it's young girl, Sunni, young, related to Mia, also a child. So that means you're also a rapist of children. It's just the jump, and then you're like, well, it just seemed depraved and ridiculous, and most people don't do that. It's weird, and you're like the only person in the entire world to like marry one of your girlfriend's like adopted children. Like that's like legit. Oh, Vic Posner, the investment banker in the 80s, I think, like he ended up dating or marrying his ex-mistress's daughter. Other than those two fuckers, I don't think there's anyone else. But it's such a weapon, and you just can't do anything about it. And Como, I think, is really actually a victim of. He's not a victim for the nursing home thing. He's a victim of, we want you out of here, and we don't want you to, like, this fraud thing about the nursing home might be bigger than what we realize as of now, and so we want to knock you down for something else, so it's not directly associated with Democrats and their handling of the pandemic. We're supposed to be the heroes. The vaccine came out under us. Screw Trump. We're the good guys. That's what I think. Deshaun Watson was just accused of sexual assault. The quarterback who wants to trade from the Houston Texans. He's one for like a month now. He's 1-1 because he wasn't involved in, I don't know, the losing he's sick of, the player moves, and like the new coach and the general manager from the Patriots. He wasn't informed about the decisions. He's very frustrated. He feels, given his stature in the league as a respected quarterback, a top tier quarterback, he should have been involved in those decisions. He wants to trade. He's demanded one. Says he'll sit out. And then a sexual assault allegation occurs, which I'm not sure. Like, why couldn't that just be the Texans using a third party to knock down Deshaun and to go to him and his agent and say, listen, we can't really get any trade offers right now while the sexual assault allegations ongoing. We're going to have to wait at least a year for this. And so they get another year with him, and they hope that things like settle down. And it gives them a year to figure things out, rather than this bombshell of I want to be traded, like right before the draft. It throws a kink in everything, right? 25-year-old quarterback on the QBR. I think he's overrated completely, but the league is very high on him. So they want more time. At least it gives them one more year, right? This thing, the civil case in that thing will be delayed, postponed until at least September. So, if not thrown out. But throughout the summer, I think there's still time. It's like they'll have time. That's how sick things are. The idea that I might be right about that should be disturbing to everyone. But it makes perfect sense to me. It makes absolute sense. Why not do that? The timing of it's bizarre. Why is a sexual assault allegation happening? He signed his contract back in September. Why couldn't some woman come out with a sexual assault thing in November? It happened right after the demand for the trade, within a month. Now you have a sexual assault allegation against you. The only thing I can think of is that it's like, let's make sure that we don't have any trade value for him. Well, let's cut his value down, which seems like it's counterproductive. It's like, if you have to trade him, you want the most value possible, and you're just hurting it. But you don't really hurt it if the case ends up resolving itself a year from now and is bogus and bullshit. What you do is secure yourself time as an organization. It makes it look like, why would we possibly be involved in such a thing? I mean, there's tons of things you can do to obfuscate like the connection to something like that. And it only benefits you. If you really think about it, it really benefits the Texans. If this was their intention, to buy themselves time, this would be a really high-level game theory move. I tweeted about it, and a few people have agreed. So that's a smart idea. That's disturbing, but true. Yeah. It's true. Like, it's like, you say you want a promotion with someone at work, and they're just like, hey, let's go to a strip club tonight. And you're like, sure, why not? And then they like, I don't know, have someone else film you, and like everyone else is doing exactly the same thing, but you're the only person on camera, and then they give it to your boss, and you lose the promotion to the other guy. It's like, that's rough, and he's sorry. And the guy just like doesn't care, because it's like all about him and his family and his progression up the ladder, and it's all, it's war. And you're just like, wow, that's not fair. Who would do that? What are you talking about? Life is war. Super competitive. Do you know how many like midgets come up to me like every day? Like, I'm gonna knock you down. You're 6'6". You think that's cool for me? Like, you think you're gonna get away with it? You're not. When they're dumb midgets, because they shouldn't tell me that. They should try to come out and stab me from behind without me knowing. But they're like, just watch it. We're coming after you. I think there's multiple midgets. Are they gonna be like stacked up on top of each other and stab me in the back? I don't know. But it worries me. I do have to look out for myself. You know, I feel like I'm a target. I once had someone from high school like see me in the gym like 10 years after the fact, and they were very like, I don't know, I could tell they like knew my accomplishments and like were jealous of them and were kind of like passive aggressive with a couple of things they said, and I just kind of like laughed in my head. I'm like, this is the antithesis of like, you know, like gaming someone. This is your own faults and insecurities coming out. You're just like laying them out there for me. So I just immediately know this person isn't a threat. They're trying to gain information from me, like almost like, hey, I have this great business idea. Maybe I can get money from you or something like that. And it's just like, but you're like putting me down in a very subtle way. Like, but while at the same time basically acknowledging you've accomplished nothing since high school. And it's just like kind of like, this is weird. I have to go. It's you know, it wasn't like that. It was just weird. It's like, this is weird. Really weird conversation. It's like people are just, I don't know. I think people need more time, like, to be happy. Like, people need more happy. I don't know what that is, but like they need more happy. Like it's like the idea, like what is his happy? Like his happy is he finds out that you know, my hands don't work, so I haven't like touched my penis in 10 years, and he feels better about himself through casual conversation where he puts me down constantly. I happen to reveal that, and he's like, oh, that's good. Okay, well, hey buddy, you just hang in there. I'm gonna go shovel some snow for $15 an hour. I'm like, nah, that's you know what I mean. He's like, he has $1 million education, and you know, it's like he should be doing other at that point, right? And so I'm just like, okay, well, you're just it's so weird. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just weird. God, people just should find like, stop depending on other people for your happiness. Don't say you completely don't give a fuck about anything, because like if there's a game, sometimes you have to work the system, right? You can't just like, you don't give a fuck, but you have to play the system. You have to pretend like you give a fuck, like putting on a mask. And then when you get to a point where you don't have to do that publicly, that's awesome, and it's very attractive. People find that really great, like when you just be completely yourself, you're not afraid of anything. But you have to earn that. You have to play the game a little bit, and sometimes you have to appease the system. My father had trouble doing that. I remember my mom telling me like he was at like a dinner party once, started doing push-ups because he felt like it, and then he's like hung out in their bedroom and like, I don't know, just like it was weird. Read a book, like weird guy. Like, yeah, that doesn't bode well for me telling you that, because then you know like I'm weird too. It's genetics. What are you gonna do? My mom was 36 when she got married, but she was a model, you know, tall, good looking, and my dad was 5'9". And didn't get married to his second wife. So third, sorry, my mom was his third. That doesn't bode well. Yeah, like crazy dad, crazy mom. And then I'm like, but I know everything. I'm good. I thought, you know, I'll say this, ignorance is bliss in some degree. When I was 19, I thought I'd all figured out. Oh my gosh, so great. I used to go to clubs in New York City, and they'd throw me out with I got my bar tab, and I give them my ID to show, like, you know, to prove that it's my, I don't know, something. My credit card's mine, this is what it was. And then they realized they can't charge my card because I'm underage. They just let me in the club over and over and over again. Like, what's that one? Oh, Adriana Lima gave me a kiss on my cheek for my 21st birthday party at Midtown. I was going to say like Limelight. It's not that. It's like some club with multiple levels of different music on it. And they kept letting me go in there. I used to go to the St. Pierre, Pierre Hotel, borrow the Phantom Rolls-Royce courtesy car. Like borrow it. I just go through the bar, the famous bar that was the Charlie's, or I don't remember. Like go to the bar, walk out. It can seem like if I've been drinking there. I was a lightweight. Like 160 pounds at one. I weighed 6'6", whatever. And I'd come out of the car, and I'd tip the guy like $40 to take me to like club. And you know, rich people are very like you know, this guy's getting $40 on a tip. Rarely does he get that, right? So he walks me into the club, and like this happened all the time. I remember once during the NFL draft, I'm so tall, I look like I'm a draftee. Michael Irvin was like shaking my hand, like, "Oh, that's your girl." Some random girl next to him, like, "Yeah, that's my girl." And I ended up hanging out with her the whole night with her friend. It's like, I was like, this is life, you know, this is what it is. It's just like, oh, go to this club, and like, yeah, meet these people, hang out with these girls and whatever, and then, this is interesting. I remember I was in the Spanish Steps when I was like 20 in Italy, in Rome, and I was like hanging out with, I think he's a professional golfer right now, and then some pretty girl, fairly graduate from Americans. It's very like American to do. It's like, where's that Italian girl? You know, that's like, well, the problem is like if you're in Italy in like the spring and summer, they're like on the beach. They're like in Sardinia. Like, so it's like, yeah, you're with Americans. Ugh. So, you know, it's like I'm staying at the Hassler or the Hotel Eden, and I'm having dinner with this American girl that I met on the Plaza de España. And I think I've all figured out. And really, I just realized I'm just a waste of space, prodigal, like son, useless, wasting his potential, spending money. It's just like, accomplish something, you fucker. But there is something to, I think you have to earn it for it to feel really good, is to take care of someone. It's wonderful. Like give them, you know, like make sure they don't have to worry about anything that you love. Create something for yourself. And then you wake up one morning. You don't have to have tens of millions of dollars or anything like that. It's just, you don't have to work the next day. You can spend the whole day with them, go to a museum, have lunch for 3 hours, and just like walk around. And have like, you know, when it's raining, and just let it hit you and just be okay with it. And you kiss them, and you can like taste the salt off their neck, and I'm getting really specific. But it's just like, that's what it's all about. And like, you just don't want anything else. You're so happy. And you have to earn it. You have to earn it. You can't give it to yourself. You have to earn it. Or you have to give it to yourself. Put presents on your tree. You know, earn that for yourself. But it's not just like, oh, I'm 20 and rich or something, and I don't have to do anything. That's not the answer. You will hate yourself when you get older because you have all this like ability. You just didn't like figure it out. You know, takes a man some time to find his way. The guy who's criticizing me at the gym passive aggressively, hope he figures it out. I wish the best for him, because there's no way that he will compete with me because he's too stupid. But no, I hope that he does. I hope that he's able to. Like I don't know, the economic chain and like success, and I don't think he's ever going to do what I do. But whatever. It's, you know, maybe we fight each other, and then I don't know. Maybe I enslave his wife, and I don't know, take all his money and his island, and raise his children as, I don't know, bastards. Is that like Game of Thrones too much? I don't know. All right. Have a lovely, lovely day. Enjoy everything. Click the like button down below. Go to deplorar.com for WA merch. What else? I don't know. Tell me something in the comments section. Yeah. Stay fabulous. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.